Hello everyone and welcome back to part 11 of our F124 driver career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Austrian Grand Prix, and I start this one with some sad news. Yes, today is the last day of the double uploads in this series, but we are coming back with a sprint weekend, so I hope that makes it up a little bit for you guys. Of course, we always try and get out as much F1 content as we possibly can in the first week of the game, so I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you for the insane support so far on all of the videos. So today, yeah, we're back here obviously in Austria, and then I believe next time out is the British Grand Prix from Silverstone as well. Obviously, if you missed out on the video that went live last night from Barcelona, I would highly recommend going in back and checking out as well. But as you can see, we are up to 72 rated inside this game. We're doing really, really well against our teammate in terms of the driver ratings as well there. So we're actually, yeah, doing pretty well at this stage of the campaign. We've lost Logan Sargent as a rival because I absolutely wiped the floor with him, as I would hope to inside this game as well. And you can see, yeah, that recognition now, 49-51. The tides are really turning within the Haas team. Also, I just want to quickly say shout-outs to all of you for telling me about the fact that I've been a moron so far in this game. I didn't realise that you could actually select multiple goals heading into a weekend as well. So we can actually go through and select like a load of goals inside this game. You can see apparently we can or we can't, I don't really know. So yeah, we're just kind of trying to do as much of it as we can. So we're going to try and achieve a 15th or better in the sprint qualifying or real qualifying, 10 laps during the race weekend, and then also we should spend 50 seconds in 5th gear at some point during the weekend as well there. So lots of goals set, and one last one as well. We'll drive a lap in 2 sessions. So thank you to all of you for telling me I've been a moron. Please do make sure you get yourself subscribed, though, if you want to see more moronic things from me. And let's head out then, ready for sprint qualifying. Well, absolutely horrible conditions then as we make our way out into Q1. I don't know what it is. Sprint weekends, for some reason on this game, they always like to give you changeable conditions, and it's always like a wet but starting to dry out circuit. What we're going to do, a couple of banker laps on a set of the mediums, kind of see where we're at, and then it'll basically decide whether we want to go to softs or to intermediate tyres for the rest of the session, because this rain isn't really meant to change. Well, I've tried not to use too much of the battery either on this first Q1 run, just so you know, we can save up and go for it again. And somehow we've gone fastest. The medium tyres able to perhaps dissipate more water? I don't know what that's about, but Albon's P3, so I don't think Ricciardo's now P3, so I don't think there's much logical reason to this right now. Well, I must admit then, this is quite a risky approach as we get to the end of qualifying, because if the track conditions have improved slightly, and all of the AI are now going to be able to improve, we've basically completely shot ourselves in the foot in sprint qualifying. As we make our way out of the final corner, though, immediately I'm getting the sense that this might not be the case. There is no grip on this circuit, but immediately going on the intermediates, we're 3/10 up in Sector 1. I mean, no matter what happens by the end of Q1, we're going to see a mixed up grid here as Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll actually improving. So they're both still on soft tyres, so it's definitely actually getting towards the crossover point. We're 4.5 seconds up, though, on my previous lap, so unless we throw this time away now, I think we should still hopefully make it. Verstappen goes through. I think actually we might have reached the crossover point here, but up over the line, we go like 1.5 seconds clear. Anyone could be out in Q1. Alex Jakes maybe jumping the gun there slightly. We've got 2 more qualifying sessions to get through first of all, buddy, but yeah, fastest by nearly 2 seconds at the end of Q1. Any big names out? No, in the end. I thought Logan Sargent might make it through. It is Bottas, Ocon, Gasly, Sargent, and Nico Hülkenberg out in Q1. Charles Leclerc squeezes by. And now as we head out then into Q2, the rain has stopped, the circuit has dried up for the most part, so we're going to get a much better idea of the pace underneath us here. Are we going to see a car that handles like Spain, or are we going to see a car that handles a bit more like Canada? Only time will tell here. Going to go out for a run on the mediums, and of course, obviously, if we don't make it through, Then we'll obviously switch over to a set of softs for a last-ditch run. We're 10th up on Joe Granu at the end of Sector 2, but we made a couple of little errors, so not confident that we're going to immediately slot ourselves up inside that top 10. At the final corner, though, up towards the line. What is the time going to be? It's P10. Oh, no, that is horrible. So I don't know whether we need to come back out or not on a set of softs. Say we haven't got enough fuel or battery to go for another run. But that is brutal. Well, of course, the mistake I keep making at the moment is too busy looking at the timings before we finish our run. So not going to look up at that top left-hand side. And make sure I get my lap finished first of all there. I think we're down to P10. Just obviously have a quick glance when we're on the straights, but 2 more corners to go then. We're a couple of tenths up. Is this going to be enough to see us into Sprint Q3? It's P10 anyway. We made it through. So we didn't need to gamble it, but we end up P5. Well, Max Verstappen then and Red Bull struggling slightly against some of the other runners here. We were admittedly the only driver on a set of softs to make it into Q3, so we have used the cheese strats there. 4 Brits in a row between 5th and 8th place. No major surprise, I guess Oscar Piastri wishes he was in Q3. But yeah, now we've only got 1 run. Everyone else has got 2. Well, I do tell a lie, sorry. We've got no spare sets of soft compound tyres. I forget in sprint qualifying you don't get a free extra set. So we're having to go back out on the tyres we used in Q2. Everyone else has already done a run on theirs as well. So I guess we're kind of all now in the same boat. The difference is my car's a bit slower. Absolutely fling it through turn 1 though. So satisfying when you get it hooked up towards the apex. But yeah, I'm not expecting to be any higher than 10th. I tell you what, we're on par with Fernando Alonso though, with just a handful of corners to go. I can start to feel though the tyres giving up towards the end of this lap. But once again, this Haas car around a track that suits it is actually a little bit of a weapon here. Out of the final corner, what's the time gonna be? A 5-1. We end up P3. We matched Hulkenberg's time from last year, or position even. Well, I've got no idea how everyone... Oh no, everyone else used their soft tyres in Q1, didn't they? That's why then, so everyone else was on a wrecked set of the soft compounded tyres, so we actually could have been in the fight for pole here. It will be Max Verstappen, to the surprise of nobody, who ends up at the front. But yeah, because everyone else used the softs during the wet period, we were probably actually a better softs than anybody else there. P3 on the grid, ready for the sprint. Can we pick up some points?
So it is all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? 7 rights and just 3 left-handers make up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is flat out, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of Turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Mr. Monaco, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Russell, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Joe, Albon, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Gasly, Sargent, Hulkenberg, Bottas, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out. We welcome to the commentary box Anthony Davidson. I'm Alex Jakes. We're both looking forward to a really intriguing race today. Well, they say you're only as good as your last race. And on evidence there, that was very good indeed. How do they carry that form through to today?
You've done it once, can you do it again? But, you know, if you start believing in yourself and the confidence starts to build, that inner confidence is what you need. And you can carry that through to future races, including this one, and you set that ball rolling. That's the critical thing that they're looking for here. And I believe if you've got that first race win or a win at any stage, it can start to roll with you in a good way.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Right, well, here we are then, on the grid ready for the Austrian Grand Prix. And it's really starting to feel like in qualifying recently that I am now Nico Hulkenberg within the team, and Nico Hulkenberg is now Kevin Magnussen in the team there. There's quite a discrepancy between our starting positions ready for this race today. But we're going to use a set of mediums to try and see us through this 12-lap sprint. I mean, could we get in with Hamilton and Verstappen at the start? Will we have the pace to hang on? It is anybody's guess. But it is 5 red lights here for the Austrian Grand Prix sprint. And it's lights out, and away we go there. Verstappen and Lewis not doing a particularly good job. Well, immediately trying to look to the outside of the Mercedes down in towards turn 1. And Lewis says absolutely not there, as I think there was a bit of contact a bit further behind. Sergio Perez maybe getting out of line slightly. No, it's one of the Aston Martins, I think, as they try and go side by side at the hill. Verstappen kicking up a load of dirt and dust as well there, as Charles Leclerc immediately tries to get down my inside at the top of the hill. We've got yellows out. I think that's just for the Constantina and up. Yes, it is. Still waiting for a safety car this game. We have seen a retirement. Charles Leclerc last weekend. Unfortunately, we couldn't see what happened at the end of the Spanish Grand Prix. Simply put, because I'm a moron. But Leclerc has retired from a Grand Prix so far this campaign. So reliability is not perfect for the AI, but it's certainly very good.
Enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Well, we know how important DRS is inside this game, and clearly immediately then, very, very useful that the detection point is just after the finish line. Here goes Lewis Hamilton on Max Verstappen up towards the top of the hill. Battles shades of 2021 here, and Hamilton for the first time really all series really looks like he could be fighting at the front of the field. Don't know whether it's just a graphical bug or Lewis isn't using his DRS, but he's certainly got the speed down around the outside of Verstappen. Is he going to be able to hang on to it? I mean, Hamilton and Verstappen surely we're going to come out in the lead once these two are done, because they will have taken each other out and put themselves in a gravel trap. Somehow not still side by side as we make our way down the hill. And is Verstappen going to hook it up? Yes, he just about will this time. Here goes Lewis again then. Surely this time around it's going to be a little bit easier for our fellow Brit to the outside of Verstappen, who's already having to charge up the battery pack. Oh, a little moment there. They tried to swipe each other, and Verstappen forced to back out of that one. Can't put the power down on the inside. He now, though, will get the DRS off Lewis on the exit.
Completed a pass for the lead.
Oh, Verstappen muscles his way to the inside of Lewis there. I want nothing to do with it. These two, I'm happy just to let them fight, as someone's already had to pit. I believe that was the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz, so he's had an utter disaster. Oh, Max Verstappen again to the inside of Lewis down towards turn 1. I mean, these two, clearly there is no love lost from their battle in 2021. Hamilton will get the long way around the outside there, and I think they were actually tied as they went over the detection point. Max, I'm there. Come on, you've got to give me some room, as we'll try and box him in behind Lewis. Again, I just said I don't want to get involved in this battle, but I think we need to at the moment. We'll go around the outside of Max Verstappen up the hill. We've already beaten him once this year. Maybe we can do it again today, is trying to utilise that top speed. It might be worth using the DRS to keep Verstappen at bay, and then waiting to pounce on Lewis later on. Oh no, little wobble. It just bounced out over that curb there. I had no idea it was going to throw us up as much as it did. Now Lewis potentially sensing an opportunity to break free at the moment. Verstappen still absolutely hounding me. Will we stay in the range of the Mercedes driver? That gap's going up a little bit. I think we should be good still. Verstappen, though, I'm sure, not enjoying seeing his former sparring partner absolutely breaking free at the front, but we've got so much grip through those final couple of corners. The car is hooking up well here. Well, Lewis Hamilton has certainly got a slower car than Max Verstappen at the moment. Are we now going to be able to try and hound Lewis and potentially take the lead of this sprint race here? I would love to try and get a sprint win to add to my collection. Admittedly, it is a collection of one, but look at that, Lewis, he loses it into the braking zone, but immediately we'll get back up the inside there on the brakes. Neither of us have got the DRS, which is going to leave me vulnerable to Max Verstappen on the exit of the corner. Here comes the Dutchman to the outside once again, and just not enough confidence on the brakes there. I thought Verstappen was going to send it way off into the sunset, but apparently not. He hooks it up, and now I get to watch these two battle it out again, or I bin it, one or the other. 4 laps to go. I mean, this sprint race, Austria, has lost none of its old school battling that we've seen on F1 games gone by. Look at that, Verstappen and Lewis go side by side through turn 1. This is going to open up the door on the exit of the corner there as we go past the outside of the pair of them. Lewis, I think, trying to make it 3 wide there temporarily, as I got no idea who got the detection point. I ran wide into the corner, so Verstappen will retake the lead there. Hamilton will really try and squeeze me on the exit. Are we going to be vulnerable to Charles Leclerc as well, though? We might lost 1, 2, and 3 places as we make our way down the hill. A little bit more confident on the brakes this time round.
Moved into first place.
Well, so, Charles, the gravel trap on the exit, but down to P3 again. Well, I tell you what, when Lewis and Max aren't fighting for a couple of laps, it's very, very clear that we are still struggling to keep up with them. We are more hanging on rather than really in a battle with either of them here. Are we going to see Lewis again try and go for a move up the hill? Verstappen's going to force him really defensive on the inside there. Oh, there is contact. Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton contact at the top of the hill, as I'm sure the Orange Army are going to be cheering on the Dutchman here. Red Bull ring, Red Bull name. Lewis Hamilton, though, will try and have a look back around the outside once again. Is he going to make it happen the long way around? I'm staggered. Max is giving him any space there, but the Dutchman once again hangs on. This is coming down to the wire. Making our way through the final corner, then one more lap to go of this sprint race, and really now it is a question of who has got the battery. Hamilton again tucked up in the wheel tracks. He's the one I think is probably going to be strongest here to take this win, but you never know what Max Verstappen's going to be able to do here, using a load of battery as we make our way up the hill. Lewis this time around goes to the outside of the Dutchman. Is he going to try and switch him on the exit? No, he'll try and hook it up around the outside. Verstappen again, forced to give him the room off of the corner. DRS now enabled for Hamilton. They're going to be drag racing on the exit. We're going to have to make it 3 wide there temporarily for the lead, as Hamilton will spot me, will cover us off. Verstappen gets the elbows out. I'm now side by side with him as we make our way in towards the final sector of the GP there. Side by side, we're on the outside in towards this tricky double left-hander there, but Verstappen again does give me the room. Are we going to be able to hook it up the long way around, though? He gets a little bit of a wobble as we run out into the gravel trap. He might actually be vulnerable to Charles Leclerc down in towards the final couple of corners. It's only been the sprint race, but boy, has it delivered. Hamilton looks like he is going to take the victory. He's got no battery, though, out in the final corner, and it is P2 for us.
Yes, mate, I'll take that. Well done. We're really happy with the podium down here, so well done. Yes.
Well, there we go. Lewis Hamilton takes sprint race glory here in the Styrian Mountains, but Max Verstappen, it's not often anyone gets the better of him, but this time around, both myself and our fellow Brit managed it. Charles Leclerc there almost knocked him off of the podium on the final lap, but 6 cars covered by just 1.6 seconds in the end. Lance Stroll even lurking around in P7, but we've done very, very well there, picking up some big points as well to potentially hassle McLaren in the championship standings as well. But now it's time for the GP. As we make our way then back out onto the circuit for real qualifying, yeah, we've got the same glitch again, where all of the AI have gone out on dries, and it's very clearly intermediate conditions. EA did actually message me and say this is one of their top priorities about things they're looking into at the moment, which I guess is a good sign. It just, yeah, I think all it is just the deltas kind of need retweaking, kind of the difference between the softs and the intermediates in these wet conditions. Because I think, well, at least through Q1 and Q2, we might be on for some very easy poles. Well, there we go then. There's no real point in spending too much time looking down at Q1. Fastest there by 3.5 seconds. I guess we can find out if there were any surprises, which there wasn't. Both V-Carbs, both Williams, and Hulkenberg out in Q1 again. So we make our way then out into Q2. Now at least it is actually soft compound tyres are going to be the way to go. But there is still definitely a little bit of rain on the circuit, so we've got to be really, really careful here. It's going to be a bit touch and go on this first run, but we want to make sure we've got a lap time down.
Push down into P15.
Yeah, obviously we want to just make sure that we get a lap time on the board early on. But I think, yeah, this might end up being a bit like we saw yesterday. One of those last car on a run has the advantage type situations. I guess, again, the good thing is for us, we know if we can make it into Q3, then everyone else is going to be on some completely wrecked tyres, and well, if the first run is ending to go by, we've still not got any DRS. We are again going to go top of the board. As there we go, DRS now is enabled, of course. The circuit now has dried up though, so this is going to finally be a good representative then of actually what the pace is like in the car over one lap here. 30 seconds left on the clock. Every single other driver is going to be out for a run. But yeah, we managed to not bottle qualifying yesterday. The important bit is we don't do the same here. We've had such a bad run of form in qualifyings in recent GPs. I do not want that to continue, but I'm sure we're about to see an Aston Martin go to the top. It is Lance Stroll there, 2 seconds clear of me, but I think everyone is basically going to go quicker than the car in front of them. Times continuing to drop there. Charles Leclerc onto 107.5, so maybe for the likes of Lance, that's going to be a real problem if everyone else behind him is going to be able to go even quicker. We're still seeing fastest times shoot in, as we're all the way down to P13. Verstappen goes top on a 1.7 flat.
We're currently in the drop zone. We need you to move up into the top 10 or we're not going to progress to the shootout.
3/10 up on Esteban Ocon at the moment, but I feel like the field spread is rather extreme at the moment, so I'm hoping we can see ourselves through and into Q3 once again there. Bottas as well down in the drop zone. Lance Stroll as well will be out in Q2. Up towards the line, what are we going to be able to do? It's going to be comfortably through. It is pole position again, or fastest I should say. Or Sergio Perez in the end just squeezing by and into Q3. But yeah, no other major surprises. I think in fact it might be that our entire top 10 is exactly the same that made it through into sprint qualifying. Both Saubers, both Alpines, and of course Lance Stroll out in Q2. And as the sun begins to set then here in Austria, we are going out for our one run here in Q3. Verstappen has set the benchmark at 104.8 is the time we're going to be aiming for, but I don't know whether we're going to have much more grip than we saw in Q2. Like I said, we might be the only driver here still with one fresh set of the soft compounded tyres. That worked beautifully for us yesterday, but is it going to work for us in real qualifying as well there? Only time will tell, but we need to try and get a good lap dialed in on the board. What's our split one time looking like? We're pretty much on the money. In fact, we do go purple. Starting to drop a little bit of time now to Checo Perez, who's our benchmark time. Hamilton and both McLarens there not having a particularly good run in Q3. Are we going to go quicker than anybody though, or are we just going to end up finding ourselves in this session with no chance of beating anybody? Out of the final corner up towards the line, it is going to be a 4.8 P2. Where did that come from in the final sector? Well, I've got no idea as to why we were so strong in the final sector there, but we were happy with P3 on the grid yesterday. Today we're going to be lining up on the front row alongside Max Verstappen there. Alonso gets P3, so 5 cars from 5 different teams making up our top 5 again. This Austria circuit really does suit the Haas, but hopefully it will do so in the race.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg and to a circuit that in one form or the other has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost the bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. 700 metres above sea level, 10 corners and one of the shortest laps of the season. 2.6 miles with some good overtaking opportunities, but you've got to get the braking right into turn 1 and turn 3. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position. Mr. Monaco completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Russell, Sainz, Perez, Hamilton, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Joe, Ocon, Bottas, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Albon, Sargent, Gasly, and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. And now, it's time to head down to the track. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes, delighted to say joining us for this intriguing race is Anthony Davidson. Well, they say you're only as good as your last race. And on evidence there, that was very good indeed. How do they carry that form through to today?
You've done it once, can you do it again? But, you know, if you start believing in yourself and the confidence starts to build, that inner confidence is what you need. And you can carry that through to future races, including this one, and you set that ball rolling. That's the critical thing that they're looking for here. And I believe if you've got that first race win or a win at any stage, it can start to roll with you in a good way.
I don't know how many times I've heard Anthony Davidson say that so far in this game. Still no idea. who he's even talking about. But here we are then, lining up on the grid. Once again, I think mediums are going to be the way to go at the start of this GP. They're trying to switch over to a set of hards later on. You can go aggressive with tyre strategy around this venue, but I think today it's going to be all about survival there against the likes of Max Verstappen. We've had a couple of really, really good tracks for us in recent races. It is 5 red lights. It's a ridiculously long hole, but it is lights out, and away we go. There is neither Max or myself or Fernando Alonso getting off to a particularly good start. Here comes Charles Leclerc clean around the outside in towards turn 1. I can just see Fernando trying to pinch me as well there. So we've not lost 2 places off the start of the Grand Prix as Charles Leclerc, despite the fact he's on hard tyres, he's going to try and go for the lead as we make our way up the hill. Verstappen says no thank you. We're now going to get a dive bomb by the second Red Bull at the top of the hill, and might just be able to put the power down around the outside of Checo. No, just not quite able to there. So really disastrous start for us. We're going to try to look back around the outside of the Mexican down the hill. Are we going to be able to do anything? He wants to give me a bit of a squeeze. Good wheel-to-wheel battling, though, early on. Also, if this was IRL Formula 1, I would have absolutely been shown the gravel trap there. On the outside of that corner is still side-by-side with Sergio Perez. I didn't think he'd hang it a long way around there. Making our way, though, down towards the final couple of corners. Yeah, we've really just got to try and get ourselves locked in to a decent spot, as Alonso and Leclerc already out of the DRS range as well. So that's really not been ideal early on. I think Leclerc's going to be a bit of an interesting one to watch how he gets on today. But to the surprise of no one, it is Max Verstappen at the lead of the Grand Prix by the end of lap 1. Are we going to be able to put the power down, or are we now going to be really vulnerable to Sergio Perez as we make our way up the hill? No DRS, of course, for us, but pretty much everyone else has got it. Here comes Checo Perez down the inside. He's going to try and make the move happen. Oh, we get a little bit caught out over the sausage curves there, just about able to put the power down, but no answer to the Mexican, who will storm through. Here comes Carlos Sainz as well. So this start is just going from bad to worse there. The AI with so much confidence down your outside. Into the gravel we go as well. Just focus up, Matt. We've got to try and keep this thing on the island early on, as Russell now having a look around the outside, pinching me as well. And second on the grid, down to 7th by the end of lap 2. That has been a stinker. But I can already see then on just lap 4, Perez now. I mean, those top 3 are probably gone. And if you're the guy that keeps commenting about Fernando Alonso, I've said it so many times in recent episodes, but maybe today could be the Spaniard's day. But yeah, for us though, you can see how important it is to hang in that DRS of the front runners early on. We've settled now down into a bit of a rhythm here in P7, just kind of trying to regroup, refocus. But yeah, that lap 1 here in the Styrian Mountains makes all the difference. Here we go, Carlos Sainz then trying to make a move up at the top of the hill. I definitely also feel the AI gets slightly quicker in a real Grand Prix than a sprint race. Checo will have the DRS though on the exit, so he will be able to hang on this time. Yeah, the slipstream, the DRS wars, they make it very entertaining IRL around here. It is normally one of the highlights of the season. But inside the F1 game, it kind of makes things just absolutely mental. Well, I am intrigued to know what Ferrari's plan of action is here, of course. Both drivers starting on the hards has left them very, very compromised here, as now you can see everyone Constantina's up down at someone. Oh, Sainz! That was really scary then. Tried to open up the DRS. It's not the first time Checo's done that this season.
Nice move. Keep going.
Caused that absolute carnage, didn't he, back at Albert Park, Australia? Yes, I still maintain that was Sergio's fault, as drag racing then with George Russell off the top of the hill. Just see again, Sainz there. Keeps giving Checo the DRS at completely the wrong point. But we are back into P6. Oh, what is this between Sainz and Checo? This time around, I mean, surely Sainz is going to be able to get the run. We might be able to get the double overtake though as we make our way up the hill. Trying to save some battery as best as we can. As Sergio Perez dives back up the inside as well. No one really wants to give an inch here as we get a little bit rattled out over the curbing.
Into first place.
Oh, there we go. So Fernando Alonso now up to P2 as well, making a move on Max Verstappen as Charles Leclerc takes the lead despite his harder tyres. Yeah, that little moment there goes to showcase to me how we need to just stay in line. Yeah, the DRS is just so powerful here, especially with 3 DRS zones in a row. This time around we get to the outside of Carlos Sainz. Again, he's going to dive it though. He almost, I think, gave me back the DRS at the top of the hill. I think this time around we will have hung on to it. You can get so much better traction than the AI off of that corner wheel to wheel we go with the Ferrari Works driver. Again, we are meant to be a Ferrari young driver in this series, but we're not really acting like it. Of course, you guys have been telling me we need to try and stay at Haas. We need to try and make them world champions. That is absolutely the intention early on in this series. It's kind of, if we could do that, once we've done that, kind of what we do after that. But yeah, at the moment, maybe just proving to that Ferrari team why we might be the right person to sign. Here, Sergio Perez has a look. Can't make it happen. We're just all costing each other so much at the moment, though, as Sainz that time around a bit more compromising towards someone. Oh, finding the grip there right the way around the outside. And I'm pretty certain they moved the DRS zone closer to the start of the straight this year. So that might also explain why everyone is seemingly getting even bigger runs on each other. But we've moved back into P4 then. But what kind of worries me is I don't see a way in which we get back up to the top 3. Oh no, here comes Carlos Sainz again. I thought we might just make it to the pit window without the Ferrari driver hassling me. Oh, a little bit of wheel bang in there as well. Really not what we want to do at the moment. Carlos Sainz will get back around me. I have to go defensive into the next turn though. Yeah, those hard tyres are definitely starting to come on a bit for the Spaniards. So 2 Spaniards now running back up inside the top 4 for the second weekend in a row.
Grip is probably dropping due to wear, so don't be too aggressive.
Yeah, I think I'm happy to sit behind Carlos until it's time to pit. Whether Sergio Perez is behind me is a very different question. That has got to be the dumbest way and the quickest way you could ever achieve one of those mid-race objectives inside this game. We got pinched between Checo and Carlos there as we just didn't quite believe how little speed Carlos even had as he made up his way up the hill. So we locked up, ran deep, but we were ahead of him. So we did get the points for it, which I guess we could be happy with. I'm going to dive into the pit lane now, though. We're going to come in 1 lap early, just because I'm a bit worried about what's going on with everybody else. So maybe these guys are all going to battle it out with each other. Of course, the other big question, we are racing at Austria. Are the AI going to ruin each other trying to get into the pit lane? That's another big question, as the tyre wear warning light just comes on, probably because I've turned this set into 50 pence pieces trying to make our way in. Hulkenberg as well. This car is genuinely good here. He's having one of his better races so far this season.
Removing the right front wheel. I know it's not ideal, but let's try and put it behind us now and get back into this race.
I love F124. It is reliably every other race, isn't it, this series?
Penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
Trying to make our way back out onto the circuit, though, down in last place. But, yeah, I can already see, I think they're 3 wide up there on the mini-map. So, hopefully, we can jump this whole group. Yeah, Gasly dropping off the rear of the field. So, I don't know. He might have front wing damage again. Second weekend in a row. Yeah, Gasly seems to just be falling off. And I think he does. Yeah, I can just see an end plate missing
Stopping now.
on that car there. Is everyone else into the pit lane then? So we got the jump on Norris. I think Alonso has also been caught out here as he's now having to go wheel to wheel with Daniel Ricciardo up towards turn 3. Surely Fernando needs to make the move happen, which I believe he will. Maybe? Yeah, I think he's done it. But yeah, I think maybe everyone battling each other, starting to struggle there. Is Ricciardo trying to get back alongside Fernando. Definitely not given any space there. No idea how long Ricciardo intends to stay out here at the moment, so we can have a look down the inside in towards the final couple of corners. Hulkenberg into the pit lane as well. So yeah, we really have had a little bit of Constantina in up then, as some of the quicker drivers slowed up behind slower cars. I think we've really got the jump though. Yes, we have. Look at that. We've got a massive jump on a lot of those other AI there. I think Alonso has been ever so slightly screwed over in all of this. There's Lando Norris now. I think he was down in 9th place then, but has immediately jumped up towards the top of this group. Tsunoda and Ocon, two of Gasly's teammates, former and prior, side by side up the top of the hill, as Alonso desperately trying to find a way through as well. It's an odd little collection of cars here, but I'm all for it, as Alonso tries to go around the outside, and not 1 but 2. Can we have a look around the outside of Esteban Ocon? No, we can. And Alonso with a worldie of a move then. We are just losing time, sat behind Esteban Ocon. Send it down through the next corner. There's some grip out there. And Tsunoda's broke way too early. Lovely. Oh, Yuki, man. Why? Why do you have to do that? Can we? Oh, yeah, we can. There's no way we can go soft to the end, but we may as well try it. Gutted. Absolutely gutted with that one, Tsunoda. And I mean, I know some of you guys will be saying, you know, just rewind or that kind of thing. I genuinely just don't on this game. Like, unless something out of, like, you know, the AI being completely broken or something like that happens, I don't rewind inside this game. I guess we give the team some more pit stop training.
That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting. You only have to stop once now, one stop left.
Even change the wing. I forgot to tell him to change the wing. That is so apocalyptically stupid. And suddenly, our Austrian GP weekend, and I mean, we won't get a safety car, is likely now going to amount to 0. I cannot believe this. Well, I guess if there's any positive to draw from that, of course, having to box back in means we can go back to the hards to see us to the end. Again, I really don't want to get a 5-second time penalty here as well, otherwise that might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. I don't get how you can literally go from one instant you're fighting for a potential podium here to the next your race is ruined.
But we've got to try and put that behind us now and finish the race strong. Get your head down.
I love that. We're basically a lap now behind Charles Leclerc in this Grand Prix. I mean, I can still see, I think that's the Alpine slowing everybody down. We are 30 seconds behind Logan Sargent, though, here with 16 laps. I doubt we're going to see another car before the end of this race. Well, that goes to show you the pace we do have around this venue today. We did use a lot of battery to try and get that fastest lap, but I mean, if it stops anyone else having it, then I'm sure we'll take it. I mean, I'm looking at it. Unless those AI in that train go side by side everywhere towards the end, we might be able to get Gasly if he's got front wing damage, Gasly and Ricciardo. But Yuki Tsunoda, he has made it onto my list. I think what probably annoys me, looking back at that crash with Yuki as well, more than anything else, is I'll know full well, when I'm going back and I'm editing this video, I will watch that back, and I will know it was completely my fault. I did just go straight into the back of him. Yeah, I mean, that AI probably could have broke a bit later into that corner, but it was most likely my own doing, and I think that's what really frustrates me with it. At the end of the day, I'm monitoring gaps, though, still around us to other cars. I'm still looking at that gaggle behind one of the Williams. I think it's a Williams and a kick Sauber, so it must be Alex Albon, and I would believe Bottas.
4.9 seconds.
They are having such a ridiculously big battle here, where they're side by side in so many places. We might, I mean, get close is probably a bit strong, but we might be closer to them by the end of this race than I ever thought possible. I cannot believe, for the second weekend in a row, the only car that we're going to beat is going to be a wounded Pierre Gasly with half a front wing. I can only assume that Alpine have no spares with them ever, which seems like a risky strategy in Formula 1, but I'll try and go this side of Pierre. There you go, you can see missing his end fence again. Really not too sure how that keeps happening.
10.6 seconds.
Around the outside then, the Frenchman at the top of the hill. Hopefully not going to get caught in a battle with him. I'm genuinely intrigued to see as well, by the end of this race, how close we can get back to those kick Saubers. Because how much that gap's already come down. Yeah, so many points have gone away from us this weekend. And, you know, it's obviously we won in Canada a couple of races ago, and that was absolutely phenomenal. That's why you take those wins where you can in this series, because it can all come crashing down immediately afterwards. That's another problem we've discovered right towards the end of this race. Still behind the scenes, I'm trying to work out how thirsty this car is. The answer here in Austria is thirstier than I'd anticipated. It shouldn't be too bad, but we are going to have to manage fuel towards the end of this GP. Ooh, Bottas into the pit lane then with 2 laps to go. No idea what's happened to the kick Sauber. Maybe he's just picked up some front wing damage. But that has meant, yeah, looking on the mini-map, Alex Albon and I believe Oscar Piastri have absolutely broken free from the rest of that group.
That gap ahead, please. 16.7 seconds.
We're into P18. We've made an overtake again. Right towards the end of this Grand Prix. Gasly's going to let Verstappen by. I think Bottas might just be able to hang on. But is Bottas going to be able to snooker away fastest lap from everybody? As I guess we can go have a hug after this race, because I would assume he also got front wing damage. While making our way then through the final couple of corners, I'm starting to wonder whether that win in Canada has actually gone and cursed us in this series, because since then, well, this time around we've just been able to stay on the lead lap.
Final lap of the race. Gap to your teammate ahead, 18.1 seconds.
That gap has come down so dramatically to that big gaggle of cars. But it is Max Verstappen, to the surprise of no one, who takes yet another race victory in this series. There's Charles Leclerc P2 ahead of Fernando Alonso. So another podium for the Spaniard this weekend. I believe that might be 3, maybe even 4 in a row for him. He really is having a fantastic run of form in recent weeks. I think as well, this is going to be Hülkenberg's best race position of the year. So it goes to show just how far this has come on in recent rounds as well, though I don't believe he's going to score a point. But of course, yeah, took those 2 in the Miami sprint. Has yet to score any other points so far this season. We might actually be locked into a battle with Valtteri Bottas in towards the final couple of corners as well of this Grand Prix. But damn you, Yuki Tsunoda. Really did screw us over today, which was a huge shame. I guess at least we scored points in the sprint. Because, yeah, disappointed 18th at the end of the Austrian Grand Prix.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Austria, and a truly magnificent drive to hang on and take the win.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they've secured here.
Well, there we are then. Max Verstappen takes yet another victory this weekend. After a disappointment in the sprint, he returns, to kick faces in come the end of the GP. They're 6 seconds clear of Charles Leclerc, who beats out both Spaniards there. Russell, Norris, Hamilton. Albon gets 4 more points for Williams as well, so a big result for him. And 12th for Nico Hülkenberg. Goes to show what this car was capable of here. Really gutted, with the final result for us. And somehow Bottas, even with that soft compound tyre at the end of the race, unable to improve on a 107 flat there. But honestly, I just want to put this one behind us. Really disappointed with the way the race turned out when all is said and done. So hopefully, obviously, we can come back stronger very soon. Max has basically got double the points of anyone so far this year. 132 now his lead over Carlos Sainz, as we are still in 10th place there with double the points of Zhou Guanyu. Stroll as well gets a couple to be back ahead of Bottas. And Alex Albon now up into double digits as well. Things you absolutely love to see there. Constructors-wise, Red Bull obviously still way out in front. I don't really think, apart from Aston Martin and McLaren, that a lot is going to change unless we see some crazy results between now and the end of the year. But like I said, really one to forget for us this weekend. The sprint was good, real qualifying was good, but the race where pretty much all of the points available, an absolute disaster. Thank you all though so much for watching nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the British Grand Prix.